So all these questions came from Kenny, who is a brand new teacher in Washington State this year. So he gave me a list of 7 questions, and just wanted to shout out to Kenny and just to kind of applaud him for taking the initiative and the time and making the money commitment to hire a professional to make sure you're set up correctly. I see so many people just try to watch videos, listen to podcasts, and try to do things on their own, and end up stumbling over the little things. So Kenny, even though he's a new teacher, Kenny still came to us, paid us for an hour of our time to make sure we could take a dive in and see that he's set up correctly. So the investment that he made in himself is certainly going to pay off in the future. So I'm moving on to his 7 different questions he had for me. All right, so first question is, what's better, plan 2 or plan 3? So we talked about this in our last podcast episode 20, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it here. For the most part, what I like to tell people is plan 2 is good if you are more low risk and aren't confident in the markets. You just kind of want something that's simple, set it and forget it. Plan 3, if you really like investing and such, and you really think you can earn enough money inside of plan 3 to offset the income gap you're going to face from not taking plan 2, then go with plan 3, or if you're not working as much, go with plan 3. In Kenny's case, he was more conservative, so plan 2 was the easy choice here. Remember, just because you're in plan 2 doesn't mean you can't save on top of it. Next question was, how much do I need to set aside into a 403B every month to meet my retirement goal? So we ended up diving into what his goals were, what age you want to be retired at, how much income he's wanting to replace. And remember that because he's new, he has to go to 65 as you get penalized. In this case, you want to go at 63. So we need to build a big enough bucket up so you could separate service, not take the hit that Washington's going to nail him with in the pension plan. So bridge the income for 2 years before collecting it. So through our math, we figured that he needed to be saving somewhere around $800 per month in order to get up to his goal, which is $800 per month. So everyone's going to have a different number, but it's important to figure out what your goal is first, what's your destination, and then figure out how you want to get there. So many people worry about what they're saving now. They don't have a goal or target in mind. And that's why you're either going to be saving too much and missing out on opportunities which you could do with that money now and having more fun while you're younger, or you're going to save not enough and having to work longer because you miscalculate how much you really needed. So taking the time to figure out what your goal is and the steps to get there is very important. Next question was, he's planning to retire at 63. How much do I need to have my retirement account by then? So again, we did the math on it. His case, he needed to have somewhere around $500,000 to $600,000 total in order to meet his income needs. If I were to leave Washington State, how would I calculate how to modify my retirement investments? How much change to the 403B? So remember that the 403B, all your retirement benefits that you have as a teacher, as a Washington State employee, are strictly tied to your job here. As soon as you leave and you go into the private market, they're going to have their own retirement benefits. You can't take your 403B with you. You could roll it into their plan potentially, but you can't keep saving into the 403B because it has to go through payroll. So we're no longer employed here. We can no longer save into the 403B. You can no longer contribute to plan 3. You can no longer put into DCP. We're not earning service credits anymore. So everything changes if you were to change careers or leave working as a public employee. What's the process to set up a 403B in the school district? So the process for 403B setups, for the most part, is going to be that you need to figure out, what plans are available in your district. Every district has a different list of who they allow. Once you figure out the list, pick a provider on there. This case, Canada like Vanguard. So great. Go ahead and go online, open up a 403B account. Once that's open, you want to go and fill out a salary reduction agreement. You can get this through payroll or through the third-party administrator who actually manages the plans on behalf of the district. You fill this form out, it lets them know that, hey, I have an account, and yes, I want to fund it. And that gives you all the details as far as how much you want to fund it, when you want to make changes, is it pre-tax or Roth? All that's done through the salary reduction agreement. And then the next step is once all that's turned in, just make sure it gets processed, because sometimes SRAs get lost. They will process a Roth for contribution is a pre-tax contribution, then we have to go back in and reverse it, and it's a bit of a headache, but it's important to catch those things earlier so it can be fixed. Another question was, what's the most optimal amount to put into 403B to lower my tax bracket? Now, I really caution Kenny here is that when we're new, we probably shouldn't be too worried about lowering our tax bracket. If we're not married yet, if we're starting off our career and we know we're going to work our way up on the pay scale, chances are, as we earn more money, we also pay more in taxes. The more you make, the more you pay. So as a new teacher, I wouldn't be too worried about lowering your tax bracket unless you had a spouse that was making buku bucks and you really needed that tax saving ability. So as far as optimal, if you were really trying to do it, obviously the more you put into 403B, the less you have to pay in taxes today, but it could potentially mean more taxes in the future. So pump the brakes before just diving into pre-tax right off the bat until you do the strategy of the comparison of what's going to be more likely for your situation and what's going to leave you paying the least amount of taxes in your lifetime. We want to help lower our lifetime tax bill, not just the tax bill this year. All right, so those are all the questions that he had for me. All of those are very solid questions, and I hope it helped you guys understand the plan and your options just a little bit better. Again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me anytime, drop comments below, and then probably the best way going forward, get this kind of information to reach me, is going to be through a new free community on School. So it's just like a Facebook group, but much more organized, privatized. There's no spamming stuff in there. It's all for Washington State employees. I have free retirement classes that I'm working on rolling out for you guys. That way you can get access to information at any time. And this is not going to be anywhere online or on the podcast. It's only inside the School group. So it's an exclusive community that's rolling out. It's still currently free to join. We plan on charging for it later, but at the moment, it's free to get in for anyone that's early adopters. So the link to join is going to be in the description below or the show notes below where you find this, and you can go ahead and join. I'll let you guys write in. You can start going through the courses. That's it for me in this episode. I'll catch you guys next week, and always remember that your future depends on what you do today.